We are live. We are live. Big show for you today. We have a great show. I'm excited. We have a very, very big show today. Lots of news to get into today for you. My name is King David. I'm a pro MMA champion, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, and I coach at Extreme Couture. And today, the top story is Gina Carano attacks Sean Strickland over his views on women. They're going back and forth in the media. We're going to get into that. UFC versus MVP beef. Paramount versus Netflix. It's going down. Furthermore, we also have another story involving the UFC. Colby Covington has backed down from his stance. John Hogan just entered the chat. What's up? What's up, brother? Good to see you. Colby Covington is back down on his beef with the UFC. Total flip-flop right now. We're going to get into that. Jake Paul went directly at the UFC again. Big news with the Jake Paul. I'm going to give you guys the inside scoop on what everybody in the Las Vegas MMA community, the actual fighters, the guys that are in the UFC, the guys that are prospects, the managers of the fighters are saying. Everybody's talking. We're going to get into some insider information on that. Also, Craig Jones is going at the UFC as well. He's putting up $10 million for his CJI tournament to rival the UFC BJJ. Everybody, I don't know if they're sensing weakness right now or what they think is weakness over this UFC White House card and John Jones not being on it, but people are going at the UFC. I also, in more lighthearted news, I saw a reel on Instagram that dinosaurs aren't real. We're going to get into that. They had some very unique takes on that subject matter. Felony and I were talking about that on the way back from the gym. We sparred, I think we got 9 rounds in today. Quick little Friday 9 rounds, you know. And also in influencer news, the fastest rising streamer on the planet, Clavicular, has been arrested again in Florida. He's got assault charges. We're going to get into that. Big drama in the influencer world. So if you have not done so already, make sure you are subscribed. If I put my hand, give you a handshake, you shake my hand. Just shake my hand by tapping the subscribe and notify button. It's super simple, but only if you're a real one. I don't want any Buster Browns subscribe to my channel. No weenies. No pencil neck geeks allowed. No wussies allowed, okay? Only real ones. Felony Charles Bennett just got here. He's been hanging out with me, so he's on white people time, showing up late. You know how we do. Anyways, this is my 668 milligram of caffeine when I'm finished with this. I know it's midnight. I'm still drinking caffeine. Crazy guy. But yeah, Zevia doesn't pay me yet, but I have a strong feeling that I will get an energy drink sponsor in the near future. But the problem is this. I don't drink all those artificial sweeteners. I don't drink high sugar drinks. So it has to be like all natural. It has to be organic. Has to be 0 calorie or close to it as possible. And in that lane of energy drinks, then I will accept a sponsorship because I don't want to promote bullshit to you guys. So I'm just made like that, right? So speaking of big fight events, Fight Circus, home of the freak show fights. Right now, you can go to Thailand. You can get dinner and some fights at Fight Circus inside the Candy nightclub. Fight Circus on Instagram at Fight Circus. You can get all your information there. I've competed, performed, fought for Fight Circus. My roommate, Felony Charles Bennett, MMA legend, has fought there twice. He fought death sentence. If you guys haven't seen that reel, it is on his Instagram, Felony Charles Bennett 352. Go look that up. And go look up Fight Circus, guys. Furthermore, if you know a gym owner, if you've got a coach, send them to StudioMillions.com. Studio Millions will pack their gym full of students who stay, pay, and refer. How do I know? Because we do it for gyms all around everywhere. I've done it overseas and, domestically in America, East Coast, West Coast. Doesn't matter, man. If they're a good gym, like they actually teach good stuff and they just need people to hear about them and get in the door and sign up, and they want to make some money doing what they love so that they can get back to loving their business, instead of it being a stressful endeavor. We've got all the systems already laid out. We've got everything, the cheat sheets, the maps, just the standard operating procedures, the ads, just everything's already done and packaged. One gym got $2 million in new contracts in just 18 months. I'm not saying that's going to happen to your coach or your gym owner, but send them to studiomillions.com because I'd love to break our previous record and have your coach be our next success story. Let's get right into it. Gina Carano has attacked Sean Strickland. So you guys know Strickland's fighting Khamzat Chimaev. That's coming up in the very near future. I train with Strickland at Extreme Couture. I don't spar him frequently. It's not a fun thing to do. Yeah, he is a very dangerous person, and I prefer to kind of vibe out when I spar, right? You know, I like a vibe, guys. Good vibes only, right? So Strickland, they asked him about the Ronda Rousey versus Gina Carano card, and he says nobody gives a fuck about women's sports. Then he said maybe put some oil on them or something, right? Like maybe they could oil wrestle or something. And then he said that he used to beat his meat to Gina Carano when he was, you know, prior to him being married and all that, right? So, you know, way prior. But Gina has come back and she has said that it's sad that that's Strickland's take and that he's clearly hurt. And that's like a hurt man. He's like a hurt man. And she says that, you know, all she can do is pray for him. And while Strickland has expressed that he's had trauma in his life, and I'm not going to get into that out of respect for my teammate on here, he's publicly said that. We're not going to get into the details. But that's not why he's saying women's sports suck. He's saying women's sports suck because they suck, dude. They're not, like, most of them aren't good, bro. Like, when's the last time you watched the WNBA, man? Like, for real, they're hemorrhaging money. And the coldest part is that the WNBA figured out, even though nobody's watching them, they're not generating any money, they're losing money. The WNBA is burning money. They're setting money on fire. The people that own the WNBA, they're losing money. Yet somehow the WNBA players have figured out how to get a raise so that their bench warmers, not even their starting players, make more than UFC fighters. That's cold. That's cold. So Strickland said that women's sports sucks. He said that they should be oil wrestling or something. And Gina took offense to that, and she's playing the like he's hurt. Well, and like some of his takes come from obviously the trauma that he's expressed. You know, I'm sure the dude has trust issues. He says a lot of things publicly that indicate that he's got a certain outlook on the planet. You know, this isn't one of them. This is just him being based in reality that like a lot of these women's sports aren't entertaining to watch. Gina's trying to like put a personal dig at him, which kind of isn't even cool. And then she's trying to like take the moral high ground saying she's going to pray for him, which, hey, good. Pray for everybody, right? Let's all pray for each other. Okay. Praying for you guys. Pray for me. I need it, right? Let's pray for each other. That's all good. But like doing it in a way that like she's above it. And let's keep it real. She's not the martial artist Sean Strickland is. She's not the martial artist Ronda Rousey is. She literally came out and said she's taking this fight with Ronda because Ronda called and asked. Okay, so while I'm happy that MVP exists, while I'm happy MMA is going to be on Netflix, you know, the word on the street is people don't know why that this is the main event, right? The people's main event is Nate Diaz versus Mike Perry. That's the fight everybody's tuning in for. Francis is a big star. Francis has a claim that he is the best heavyweight in the world. He's my teammate. I'm biased. I agree with him. But the dude he's fighting, most of us have never heard of. So the actual people's main event is Nate versus Mike Perry. And Gina and Ronda don't really have a actual, I guess it's nostalgia that they're fighting for. Like, hey, this was one generation, like maybe 3 or 4 generations ago. And then there's a generation that's, well, what are we going to call Ronda? 2 generations ago. And they're just fighting just for nostalgia, for name recognition, which is cool. Bring eyeballs to the sport, guys. I'm all for it. I'm all for everybody getting paid, but not sure what the fight really means in terms of MMA, like anything. Like, who's Ronda gonna fight next? Like, who's the next opponent for Ronda? It doesn't even, it's like, where's this fight going? So in a lot of ways, people would say it's a cash grab. But the cool part is that this Netflix deal and Jake Paul, they are paying fighters well. So here's the underground story, the insider stuff. Dude, everybody's talking about fighting on the MVP card. There's dudes at the gym that are trying to get out of their UFC contract to go fight for MVP. The top prospects at the gym, they're all trying to fight on Netflix. The managers at the gym, I was literally sitting with a manager because the managers hang out at Extreme Couture, like all the top managers, all the guys you see managing people. And one of them was there and I overheard him talking and he's like, man, fuck the UFC. He's like, I want my guys on the MVP. He's like, I hope Netflix does 12 shows a year. And I'm like, dang, bro, this is like one of the top managers in the game. Like you would know who he manages, like UFC fighters, etc. And he's saying that for his prospects, he doesn't even want them to go to UFC. He wants them going straight into Netflix. So to me, that seems like, man, there's some competition brewing. And if this Netflix show gets numbers like we all believe it will, which it obviously will, well, then they're talking about rolling out 12 shows this year. 12 freaking shows where they're paying out multi-millions of dollars. Man, listen, every single person. I was watching, so Felony hopped on a podcast with my teammate Justin James, and Justin James is most famous for, he got paid $25,000 to fight in the UFC for one fight. He bet $25,000 on himself. Unfortunately, he lost the fight. And he's such a G. He's like, I would do it again because I believe in myself, right? So Justin's got a podcast out. It's called 10-7 MMA. So if you're into like MMA podcasts he's much more into the like nuts and bolts and the specifics of fighting than this channel is. My channel's more of like a, what's going on? Oh, crazy drama. Let's have some fun. Let's keep the vibe up. Let's speculate. Let's have rumors, right? Like let's be creative together. His is a much more like Sports Center style approach to it, which it's dope. They're very good at that on there. And they had Felony on, and like the everybody's talking about the Netflix card. It's crazy, man. They're like, with one fight, they're kind of taking over the mental space of everybody. And speaking of people who were in their heads, Colby Covington went out, guns blazing at the UFC, threw the UFC right under the bus, and I guess he got that phone call. Because now he's like, yeah, I was emotional when I said all that stuff, and I still love the UFC, and I look forward to fighting, and like, bro, that's a 180. What happened? The cool part is that Kobe seems to be more himself now. And although I feel like if you're going to play the character, stick to the character. I didn't like some of the stuff that Kobe was saying while he was in character. It's like when he starts talking about Leon's deceased father, like that's not cool. And that's not even like a good character. That's just like the bottom of the barrel. Like, what's the worst insult you could say to someone? Talk about their dead parents? Like, come on, man. Bro, you're not even being creative. You're not trying, right? Like, think of something outside of the box to say, right? Anyways, at least that's what I try and do. I've been known to give good post-fight speeches, pre-fight interviews. I've been known to hype a fight or two up myself. In fact, a lot of people would say that the reason that I'm relevant in MMA isn't because of my fighting record. It's more because I go viral when I get on the mic after I win. Some people would say that, and there might be some truth to that. Andrew Tate's retweeted me. I got a lot of celebrities following me because of my post-fight speeches. I walked out to Riff Raff one time. Riff Raff started following me on Instagram. You know what I mean? So like, I have a different approach to it. So when I see Kobe, we're in the similar lanes. I get called, like when I went to WrestleMania, we had floor seats. My boy Doc Ock hooked up the floor seats, which was awesome. Watching WrestleMania live from fucking this far away is epic. And Kobe was there too, but I had, it might have even been this UFC hat on. I was walking around with this UFC hat on and my shirt, like my jacket undone or whatever. So, you know, my abs were out and all that. Back when I had abs, I got a little thick recently, over Valentine's Day, hanging out with my girlfriend eating chocolates. But, and she's like encouraging me to eat healthy. And I'm like, no, let's go get more. I want to buy you more chocolate. Girl, I want to buy you. No, it's for you, girl. Here, you have one of them. I'm going to have 25 of them. But, you know, anyways, that's neither here nor there. But I had a UFC hat on and people were coming up to me, calling me Kobe Covington, trying to take pictures with me. So I don't know if all white people look the same to non-white people, but apparently people thought I was Kobe Covington. And Kobe Covington's like, you know, 100 yards away, and he's wearing more of a suit, and he doesn't have a hat on. And I'm like, dude, we're not even dressed the same. It was way different. And yeah. But so when I say crazy stuff, I guess because I'm white and I have a very pro wrestling approach to my post-fight speeches and my pre-fight interviews, I get called like, oh, knock off Kobe Covington, or you're trying to be like Kobe a lot, right? And I see us as very different. I see Kobe as like going full negative, like at every opportunity he can when he's in character. He's just like going to the most negative thing. And I prefer to be more creative. So for instance, I cut a promo after a fight. I told the crowd, all you fat, out of shape Montana meatballs. Like I'm calling them meatballs, right? I didn't like really actually address like, you guys are in an economic downturn. There's welfare recipients in the crowd and you're all hooked on fentanyl. Like that's a fucked up promo, right? Like those are probably real issues that somebody might be dealing with. But like calling somebody a meatball, that's more of a fun, playful way, like a pro wrestling style. And so in that post-fight interview, I was, that was like my tribute to a dude named Rick Rude, who I grew up on. And he was like one of my favorite pro wrestlers ever. So I wanted to hit his style of speech after I won a fight. And so that was like a life moment for me. They were throwing beer at me, but I called them meatballs. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, how could I do something creative in a playful way that like honors this WWE legend that I used to watch? You know what I mean? And so I'm more of like I feel like an artiste. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like Kobe just went straight to the gutter with like being like just a, and I get it. He's trying to sell the fight and he may not care to put as much thought into things as, you know, I might put into being creative. But man, it's kind of interesting to see him be real now. And he has flipped his script. He is saying like he does want to fight for the UFC still. And it's just an interesting turn of events because not only is he now kind of out of character, he's even kind of starting to try and go back to character a little bit, which is odd. Because you know he's oh this is the same character. It's like, bro, no, just now you fucked it up. Now you got to be that version of you now. So anyways, we'll see what happens with Kobe Covington. I'm still hoping he gets on the White House card. The dude basically made so many people hate him, you know, trying to play that character, and it was all to like support the current administration, and the least they could probably do is put him on the UFC White House card and let him make his dream come true. So I hope Kobe's dreams come true. I hope he fights on the UFC White House card, and despite the fact that I didn't like some of the things he said as a character, I do like him as a fighter, and I hope he wins. So, you know what I mean? We're not haters around here, guys. Furthermore, in big UFC White House news, the UFC White House card has got a lot of people saying that the MVP card is actually the more entertaining card. And while people pretty much will admit that the White House card is the better fighters fighting, the actual like most skilled, most relevant to the rankings type fighters, that the White House card is kind of not as exciting as the nostalgia and the funness of the MVP card. And so Jake Paul is now going directly at the UFC because he's paying more. And he came out and he started saying that this is what happens when a fight promotion, it's like by fighters for fighters. And so Jake's the fighter, and he's saying, this is what happens when fighters run the fight promotion. Like, you guys get exciting cards, we pay the legends, we make everybody rich, come fight for MVP, as opposed to like letting the suits over there at the UFC, letting the bean counters run it, letting the accountants and the investors and the shareholders and the CFOs run it. And that's like what he's implying. And I find that to be super interesting because people hate on Jake, man, but Jake really does seem to care about fighter pay, and he does want people to get money, right? And he's smart enough to realize that by paying people a lot of money, it makes media, it makes social media, it makes news. People start talking about it. And now he's getting free publicity, and he's getting millions and like, let's say he pays somebody $1 million, but he could go pay Facebook to run ads and pay $10 million in ads. Or he can pay this fighter $1 million and he'll get more impressions from the social media organic reach by everybody talking about that fighter getting paid $1 million than had he invested $10 million in Facebook ads. You get what I'm saying? Like on Instagram or whatever. So I like his approach, man. He's paying well. He's got that Netflix bag and he's digging in it. So we're excited about that. Craig Jones has doubled down on his $10 million offer to martial artists, saying he's going to put $10 million up for a grappling tournament. Again, he's going directly at UFC BJJ. He's saying, wouldn't it be a shame if all these people who are locked into their UFC BJJ contracts have to explain to their managers why they can't go fight for the $1 million in CJ, and by fight I mean grapple, right? Why they can't go grapple for the $10 million bag? Dang, dude. So now he's like essentially saying, hey, if you're thinking about signing with the UFC BJJ wants exclusive contracts because they feel that that's how they'll build the sport, by having recurring names, and then they can build these people into stars, and by investing in them, then they want them to be exclusive back. And Craig Jones is saying like, hey man, fuck that. Come grapple for this $10 million bag, right? Don't even sign with them. So that's like directly trying to take market share from the UFC and attack their business directly, man. It's a lot. There's a lot going on right now. I think what happened is the Paramount Plus $7 billion deal made people realize, whoa, there is a lot of money in this. There's money to be had. Even though the UFC may not be paying out as much as other sports, other business-minded people see that and go like, oh, well, if we do really well with MMA on Netflix, we could get a $7 billion bag. Or, hey, if I can get CJI to be in the conversation as relevant to the UFC, maybe I don't get a $7 billion bag for grappling, but I could get a $700 million bag. So I'll find somebody who'll put $10 million up, will steal market share, will steal the awareness of everybody, get everybody talking about it. We'll do this big event, $10 million prizes. Everybody's leaving, every other organization. Everybody in the world wants to compete at CJI for the 10 mil. And now they're getting all the organic press. They're getting all the viewers. They're getting all the numbers. They're getting all the metrics. And then they can take that and sell that product to, I don't want to say Paramount Plus, but somebody similar, right? And get a huge bag. So it's a good time to be in martial arts, man. The money is increasing, guys. The money's increasing. So if you're up and coming in the sport right now, just know you're about to get rich. Just know you're about to get rich. Lock in. Hit more practices, stay focused, stay committed, because the money's only going up and there's more places to go than just the UFC. So that's good news for everybody, because the UFC can't sign everybody. And if they do sign you, you're getting signed to $12,000 a fight, $12,000 to win most likely. Allegedly, they're not even going to fly your entire corner out. And then you still got to pay for your cornerman's tickets, your cornerman's hotel room. You got to pay your corner. You got to pay your taxes, all that stuff. Or you could go fight somebody on MVP and get a couple $100,000, maybe even $1 million. You could even go win $10 million in a grappling tournament. No telling what's possible, guys. So yeah, it's exciting times to be in martial arts. Furthermore, another exciting update, guys. I am full on the conspiracy theory algorithm, like the fun conspiracies, right? Like that list with that island, like that's like real dark. The conspiracy I want to talk to you guys about today is, are dinosaurs real? Because now I'm getting fed reels on Instagram that say dinosaurs are not real. And they have like pictures of dinosaurs trying to have sex and their bodies don't match. Like, how can a brontosaurus have sex with another brontosaurus? Like, they're not even built for that. They have these little short legs. The chick's ass is up this high. The other brontosaurus, and then there's a big tail. And this brontosaurus would have to, I need a tissue, y'all. This brontosaurus would have to climb up this brontosaurus. And then like there's this big tail in the way. Like, how would that work? Or like a Tyrannosaurus Rex, right? How is a Tyrannosaurus Rex gonna, its arms are like this, and the female T-Rex has this big tail, and now it's gotta maneuver its hips under the tail without lifting the tail up. Is this possible that there's no such thing as dinosaurs? Their explanation of dinosaur bones. And I'm asking you guys, what do you guys think? Their explanation of dinosaur bones is they're actually giant bones and dragon bones. And that there's no such thing as dinosaurs, and that's been propagated to us to get us to believe that Tyrannosauruses existed. So, I don't know, man. I was having fun watching these reels because the cool part is this, right? When you get into the more fun conspiracies, some of them seem a little ridiculous, but they're at least like fun ways to expand your mind into different ways of thinking, right? Like they're creative processes like, hey, could that be what's actually happening? Is that people are finding giants' bones, like giants lived on the earth? And then I'm getting these reels and it's like, this ancient building was built out of pure marble with 30-foot doors. Who would walk through those? Who could carry those stones? How'd they get the stones from the quarry 500 miles away over to here? And how is it all built perfectly with the technology? And then it gets into like, in India, there's like an entire city. It's intricate, guys. And allegedly it's been built from the ground down, chiseled out of like the, whatever it is, limestone ground. Dude, yeah, so the conspiracy theories are getting fun. I got a couple on aliens I need to watch still. Felony and I were in the car, and people in his feed, he's getting a different type of reel, and they're saying that the moon isn't real. And now I've seen two different thoughts on the moon in terms of conspiracies. One is that we live on a flat earth and there's a dome over us. It's called the firmament. And the moon is like in the waters in the firmament, and it's fixed. And so that's why it's always, it's flat and it's fixed. And it may not even be like physical. It could be just like energetic or something. Some other people say it is physical, but it's a disc. It's not a sphere. And then the other conspiracy I heard is that space is real. We are on a globe, but the moon was put there by aliens because they needed to create life on Earth. And by putting the moon in the perfect place, that's what caused the tides and created like microbial underwater life that then later turned into amphibians, which then later turned into mammals. And that documentary was super interesting because it's like the Earth and the moon, if they were any further distance, it like wouldn't have worked out. And the moon is at the exact specific place. This is where all the conspiracies have in common, is that the moon is borderline put perfectly there, either by the creator, God above, or by aliens, or by NASA or whoever, right? Put there perfectly, because when when the sun goes and there's a lunar eclipse, they match up perfectly. And like the fact that it's this distance from the earth and that it can completely shadow out the sun, and that if it were any further, it wouldn't have created the tides the same way, and then life would have allegedly not existed on earth. It's like, dude. So if it just happened by happenstance, it's like, is there any happenstance, or is there a God? Like, is this all working out perfectly? Or maybe, so when I was watching the one where they said the aliens put it there, they even said that they said that the moon is not actually rock, it's metal. And some people allege that it's an actual spaceship, and that's where the aliens come from. They come from the dark side of the moon, and that it's like almost like a Death Star. It's and when like little meteorites hit it that are listening devices, hear it ringing like a bell. Ding! Instead of what you would hear if it was rock, which would be, you know. So anyways, man, if you guys want to get into some weird stuff, go look up dinosaurs aren't real. Go look up the moon's fake. Go look up all that stuff. They're super fun conspiracy theories. Obviously, you don't need to believe any of them. But if you'd want to just expand your mind and think about like, what could be possible, or like, how could somebody think of this theory? Those are something to do, man. They're like lighthearted and can entertain you. So anyways, in more serious news, Clavicular, the #1 fastest rising streamer on the planet, got arrested again. Now you might be thinking, yeah, it's old news. He got arrested because he ran the dude over in his Cybertruck, or he got arrested with drugs in Arizona. No. He got arrested again, guys. He got arrested for assault in Florida because I believe his girlfriend's name is Violet and she's 24. And apparently he egged her and a 19-year-old Foyd, or a 19-year-old girl. He egged them both on. We don't know if she's a Foyd or not, right? The article didn't specify, but he egged them on to fight each other. And now he's being charged with, and this was inside of an Airbnb, and now he's being charged with assault for, I guess, promoting them fighting each other and then videoing it on his Kick. I'm not sure exactly if he made physical, because that would be assault, right? Like physical contact. But this says that he egged them on, which I didn't even understand you could get a charge. I thought that was just talking shit. I thought that was just stirring the pot. Back in my day, we used to just call that stirring the pot. We used to call that talking shit. We used to call that egging people on. We used to call that a fun time. And it called it instigating. So apparently he was instigating, and then there was a chick fight, and now Clav's in jail, and the internet wants to know. The one question all the internet can agree on is Clav going to be able to mog his way out of jail? Is he going to be able to mog his way out of jail? Because he apparently mogged his way out of all those other charges. Can he get off on these charges again just by his looks maxing and status maxing and his social status? Is that possible, guys? So, man, you know, there's a lot going on. We talked about Gina Carano versus Sean Strickland. We talked about Kobe Covington. We talked about are dinosaurs real? Jake Paul, Craig Jones, Clavicular. Man, see, that's why you got to, if you've subscribed. So I see some people coming back that have been here before. Oh, speaking of which, John Hogan says, what's up, Felony? So he's in the chat. Felony's in the chat. And, you know, for the returning guests, you guys already know how we do it. No telling what we might discuss on the show. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit the notifications to make sure that you stay in the loop so you can hop on and we can have a discussion together. Send your coach to Studio Millions and make sure you check out Fight Circus for your freak show fights. Until tomorrow, we'll be back. I'm going to try and go earlier, guys, because this midnight shit is getting kind of crazy. Every night at midnight, I mean, I go spar and all this shit in the day. I got shit to do, right? But maybe I'm going to start streaming earlier. And if you guys are still on right now, I need you guys to hold me. You guys are going to be my accountability partner for this. I need to start producing actual videos, not just going live. Live is easy for me. I can just go on a rant. I can just rant. How long we've been on here? 30, 40 minutes. no problem. Crank out a 40-minute live stream. Now, that's what I do, right? Some people have gifts. This is one of my many gifts. You know, God already gave me the job line. But now, you know what I mean? Being like charming, charismatic, entertaining. We could do that all night, right? But I feel like I gotta have more videos, like actual videos, because there's a certain segment of the population that wants to hop on live and, you know, fuck around and have fun on here together with me right now. You know, and there's another segment of the population that wants to like watch a actual more planned out video. And I would like to do both. I want to come on here and vibe on the live, and then I want to have like subjects that I want to discuss more in a structured format. Like if, you know, like the 3 biggest mistakes that are blocking you from your success. And then like I explain how I won a pro MMA title at the age of 44 by changing 3 things. And they're like super implementable and you could do them today. Like that's to me a dope video that's like able to help and obviously deliver it in a charismatic way, right? But like subjects like that, or like, you know, how to have unshakable confidence in the face of danger. And it's like pro MMA champion reveals the #1 secret to look danger in the eyes and never blink. You know what I'm saying, guys? So anyways, make sure you subscribe because I'm dropping more content. Anyways, I will see you guys tomorrow. I love you. Peace.